Hi everybody, this is Diane. This is my first Christmas journal for 2020 and I would love to show it to you. I made it with a digital kit called a Gnome Christmas, and it's from Home Book and Treasure. I will link the journal kit underneath this video, and then you can easily find the add-on kit, which has tags in an envelope and journal cards, I think. The kit itself comes with 8 pages plus 6, I think, large cards, which I reduced. You'll see them in the book. So, it's tied with twine. These are like woodland gnomes, and I used a woodland type of theme, so it's pretty rustic. I had just finished reading this book called At the Edge of the Orchard, and it was the perfect size and color for this. And when you see the end papers, it's just perfect. I Mod Podged one of the pages. I cut the page in half and Mod Podged this image to the front, so it has a nice finish with the Mod Podge. And I recently had gotten this piece of upholstery fabric in a Happy Mail, so I used that on the spine. It's pretty thick, and added some crochet trim. And it has 3 signatures. And here is the end paper. The book was, like I said, called At the Edge of the Orchard, and it was about a man who had an apple orchard. And so these are apple slices cut with the seed still in them, and they look like stars. So I thought, wouldn't the gnomes use things like that to decorate their Christmas tree? And they're red, so I thought it was just perfect for this book. I added this label. And this is a piece of fabric. I got this from my friend Leslie from her shop, the Vintage Paper Emporium. She sold a package of these fabric pieces that she had found somewhere. And I don't know if it was at a flea market or a thrift store or whatever, but it was a Christmas fabric that had been cut, and it had an iron-on stuff ironed to the back, which I didn't use. I just glued them, but they were already cut out, so that was pretty cool. And I have much bigger pieces too, of poinsettias and a Christmas stocking, but I just used some of the greenery pieces for this book. So I'm just going to flip through. I'll try to do minimal talking on this. You will know that. Oh no, okay. All of the digitals are part of the Gnome Christmas kit. So this is one of the pieces, and I took a piece of burlap and frayed it and sewed this to it and then glued it to the page. I used some of the cards for tuck spots, and this is one of the journal cards. These are journal cards that came with the add-on kit. Everything is inked. I added some tabs. Some are cardstock tabs and some are fabric tabs. You can see all the fabric tabs I added to the edges of pages. This is a little bit of a woven ribbon trim on the edge here. I didn't want to use lace. This is something that I made a couple years ago, or at least last year, and it's wrapping paper, and I glued it to cardstock and then just did a collage on it, and I put that on there as a tuck spot and added 2 of the tags from the kit. Added some twine. Like I said, everything is inked. And I did this, I sprayed through a stencil to get that wood grain on the white paper. I take my sweater off, it's getting warm in here. Here's one of the pages from the kit, and they look like they are on handmade paper with lots of flecks, bits and pieces in it, so it's really pretty. But it's a light color, so easy to write on, because she has one sheet like this, and I put that on the back of all the pages, so very easy to write on. And this is a really cute design here. This is just a thin craft paper, and I Mod Podged that piece of napkin on it. Stamp there, some music paper. This is from an old ledger, very old ledger book, and I just did some crackle stamping on it. It's just a background stamp that I have. and added little bits. This is a piece of a tea bag that someone sent me. It's dyed. And a piece of handmade paper. Fabric flip here. I had sprayed this page and I did a collage of handmade paper on it. You can write on that. This is stamped on fabric. And this is stamped on fabric, and I got both of those pieces in a Happy Mail. Here's the fly leaf from the book. And this came out of some sort of an album. And it's a craft paper. So I use neutral, natural tones. This is handmade paper. It does have some bits in it, and I glued this leaf trim to it. And this is straw paper from Italy that I got from Rachel at Roxy Creations. And I stamped on it. And this is the envelope that comes in the add-on kit. It has the same image that's on the front. I just added a scrap here. I had cleaned off my wood grain stencil on this scrap so that I could do stuff like that with it, make it into a journal card. There's some washi tape on the edge. Here's one of those fabric pieces on the straw paper. I did some stamping there. I just stamped these little trees along this piece of linen and sewed it to the edge. Here's a piece of straw paper that I also cleaned off my wood grain stamp or stencil. Added some textured paper and a piece of cork and this little tiny Christmas image of holly. This is a genuine vintage postcard. It's very worn, creased. It feels very soft, and it's embossed. I can't find a date on it, but it's pretty old. And if you like that, it's available as a digital in my Christmas antique Christmas postcard digital set. So that's the other side of the album that I stamped, or the old ledger book that I had gotten. You can see where it was attached with the posts. This is a piece of wrapping paper. I just added this little label in there. And this is from the paper, the journal kit. I think there were 6 cards, and they print 2 to a page like this. So it's pretty big. So after I printed the first one, because I just wanted to see how big they were, and then I printed them all 2 to a page, so they ended up having 4 on the page, and they're smaller. And I don't know which ones are the journal cards that came with the kit and the ones that ended up being smaller from the add-on kit, but you'll see when you go to purchase. This is a vintage gift tag, and this little pocket here, well, there are 2 of these, and it comes with the add-on kit, I believe, and this tag. This is just a journal card that came with scrapbook paper. Look at the gnomes sledding. Here is a craft merchandise bag. I had to cut it because it was too big, so I just sewed the open end closed, and then I just sewed the other edge so that they looked the same, and did a little collage here. And then I took this cut off piece of scrapbook paper, cut it into the shape of a tag, and you can open it up, and I added that. This is part of the paper that I cut. I cut this part off, and then I just use the other half, cut that part out of it. There's a fabric flip with a stamped reindeer. This is an old tablecloth right here. piece of handmade paper. It's mulberry paper with a lot of fibers in it. Straw paper. This goes, I folded one of these computer stationery pieces to make an envelope in the center. And this is just from another, oh, I gotta ink that. I'll leave it out so I can ink it. It's from a different journal kit from last year, and I don't remember what it is, but I printed it on cardstock. Like I said, it was left over, so I just cut that and stuck it in there. There's another piece of the fabric. There's a little cluster. This is a fabric cluster. And then I used my Tim Holtz slotted pocket to make this. So I glued the pocket that you get with the die cut. I glued that to a piece of cardstock and glued it on as a pocket. Added this tag. Put a little reindeer stamp on that. And then just tucked some. These I just made with leftover pieces of my scrapbook paper. This is just a little, I think it came from scrapbook paper, but I don't know. I've had it for a while. Just little pieces that I've had. There's the other side of the bag, and I added one of the pieces from the kit there. And then there's a piece of doily here, and on the inside there is another piece of the journal kit. Well, wrapping paper there. This one has a library pocket that was, I think it was a die cut pocket. I had to fold it and glue it. This is a vintage Christmas card, and this is a vintage gift tag. Someone actually made that by cutting this out of a Christmas card and gluing it to this. This is one of the large cards that got shrunk down. And so is this one, I think, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. This is a vintage game card, and I put it with my Christmas stuff because it was a reindeer. Just a children's game card. There's another fabric flip with a stamped piece. This kit was really fun to work with. I love this piece from that fabric. And then I made a pocket out of fabric and a little piece of burlap trim. And this is a tag I made out of corrugated cardboard that was gessoed. I did a collage on it. This piece is from the kit. And I had a wooden star. I put gesso on that and glued it on. Added some pretty paper on the back that you can write on. This was one of the cards that got printed large. It's really cute. I mean, this is the size that it prints, unless you print 2 to a page. And here's the other pocket, and a vintage gift tag. And I don't even remember where this came from, but he's really cute, so I tucked him in this pocket. Then I made a pocket on the back and added an envelope. This came from Dreams, etc. There's nothing in the envelope. You can add something, whatever you want in there. And this printable ticket, which I don't even remember whose kit that is. but it has my signature on the back. And then this is another vintage postcard with a blue jay. Isn't that pretty? I tried to use only things that the gnomes might see in their woodland area. And there it is, and I tied it up with a piece of twine. I love this book, and I hope you do too. It's not too full, but it wants to pop open because this fabric is heavy and stiff, and I wrapped it all the way around. So I think that will correct itself over time, especially as it's kept tied shut. Unless you fill it up and make it pop. But that's up to you. So I love this journal. I hope you love this journal, and I will be back with the next couple, and I think the next ones will be the golden books. So I'll be doing the Christmas story and it's buried, but the 12 Days of Christmas. Those will be my next Christmas journals, I believe. So thank you for watching, and this will be in my shop when you see this video, and I will leave the link to the shop below. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.